So please feel free to drop in any questions, comments, anything that you may have. Unmute. It doesn't have to be super formal. And look, there's not like a lot of us here, which is fine, which is cool. So the first thing we're gonna be doing is, if you look at, I mostly have this one pager for me, to be honest, to do. We're going to start with a collaborative activity to talk about, how we're differentiating and accommodating our students, our learners at the moment, right? And so I'm an educator, a presenter, that I really love to just learn about what you're currently doing, and then taking that information, taking that data, right, in real time to customize the rest of the session out for you. Not that I don't have a plan, but I really want to make sure that we're meeting you where you're at. And so I'm gonna drop my one pager a few more times. And will it let me pin both? It should. Yep. So for those that are just joining, the sign-in sheet for the deep dive, that should be pinned in the chat, as well as my one pager here. And you'll be able to access this whenever you want. Feel free to bookmark this if you want. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to start out. I'm going to click on the Kami Chrome extension. So don't know where you are with Kami, if you've used it before, but Kami is a Chrome extension. I do work with your district pretty closely, I would say. The extension should be rolled out to all of your devices. And so I click on the little K right here to take me to the Kami dashboard. And so the Kami dashboard is the place for you to do a whole lot before you start assigning stuff. Like, think of this space as like, your teacher prep space before you get curriculum, documents, resources, graphic organizers out to your students. You come here first, right? Before you get it into the classroom. I like to point out that there's you click on the Kami library button right here that will take you to the library. And we're gonna do a quick collab. Type in the word collaboration here. And what I'd like to do, I want to keep something super open. So I like this one. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because they're adding new ones like all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this one here. I'm gonna select open with Kami, open up in a new tab. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Drop ideas for the group. So if you pull something from the library like this, with respect to how we're supporting all of our learners in terms of access, accountability as well, accessibility, I think there's something to be said by fostering a good, healthy, collaborative environment, right? Sharing out ideas, but being able to communicate with each other in a very equitable way. So I'm going to go ahead and use the text box. I'm going to drop in our own little prompt here. I will be sharing this out with you. But let me go ahead and how are we accommodating and differentiating instruction for our learners? I'm going to put that up here. Yes, I wanted to save in my Google Drive. Thank you, Kami. I can type, I promise. So I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to use a little paint can. Make it white. No. Make it purple. Sure. Okay. So here's the prompt. So when you get this document, again, I don't know how much you've been in Kami, but you'll be able to drop over here on the left-hand side and pick whichever tool you want, right? And so I'll go first and I'll say text box. Now, with respect to differentiation, know that there's a lot in here, right? So you may want to take notes or maybe just like document like, hey, here are the top 3 main ways that I want to start thinking differently about differentiation for my students, right? Now, one way is this, is I'm in the text box and I can go up here and click on the little microphone. So the learners that are maybe not with the typing, or they're English language learners, or they're just they just need to talk stuff out. They can click on that microphone and talk out, and in our case to be this prompt, right? So I can click on this and just say giving students more choice on new learning. And boom, it types that out for me. So I went first here, okay? Just to model that. I do, you do, we do kind of thing. And I'll drop that like kind of out of the way. I'll kind of give you some space here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and hit share. Yeah, Sunny, I'll definitely do that right now. So what I'd love you to do, this is my explicit direct instruction. Hopefully I don't botch this, but I'm going to go ahead and give you all the camming tools. I'm going to copy this. I want you to jump on this link on this document. We're all going to be in there together, and let's share out together. How are we accommodating and differentiating instruction for our learners? I'll go ahead and drop this in the chat, and then I'm also going to grab the sign-in sheet. The sign-in sheet is pinned, but maybe it's not showing up for y'all. Sunny, let me know if you don't see it or if it's not working, anything like that. Jennifer, giving students tools. The tools. There's a whole lot of tools over here on the left. And we won't be able to break down all of them. There we go. Someone playing around with the comment tool. Yeah, you very well can play with any Cami tool you'd like. Creating video with instructions. Jacqueline, yeah. You all like video. I know that based on because like a lot of the sessions that I see you all run for these things, like they're very not all of them, but I see a healthy amount of multimedia implementation, which I think is great. Like I know there's another session that you're missing out on. Thank you for being here, by the way. Like around like WeVideo, Adobe, Canva, like all tools that I still use in my personal life. Visuals, repetition, checking for understanding. This is one. I'm going to highlight this one. So we're definitely going to take a deep dive on that. Giving students more time. Yes. Modeling. Video for instructions. And then I'd also add, for creating video with instructions, like I think it comes down to a matter of like access in and out of the classroom. Ooh, who's this? Melissa, big shout. Strategic group and partner work. Yeah. And so this is more like a tier 2 intervention, right? Where we do the initial learning, you kind of, put your best foot forward with that. And then let the checking for understanding, let the feedback, let the data drive where you're going to go. Big shot on that. I also love this one. Various depths of questioning. Now with this one, because so you think about like the wide range of needs. Oh, you moved it. It's all good. Hold on. I can follow you. Burp. Oh, how did I do that? Oh, you put it back. Oh my gosh. Um, I think with this one, various steps of questions, how we respond, speak, right? Yeah. Um, it also comes down to like, what are the various like, I don't know. I hate to put it this way, like not to sound like an administrator, but like, you know, the various different subgroups that we support, right? So we have our English language learners, right? We have our SPED population. And just reading down here, deaf, hard of hearing, right? Which is fits under the umbrella of SPED, like SPED can be broken up in various different ways, right? Um, Rightfully so. And then also like GATE students, right? I feel sometimes like our GATE learners get ignored, at least in my space, at least in when we're, you know, when I'm teaching in a credential program, that tends to get ignored. That's just my own opinion and take. You can, Marie, as an ESL teacher, I like the read aloud function. Students are able to read, but also listen. Yep, I love that. Providing sentence frames. Yeah. We will be looking at automated feedback. Okay, cool. We had some good ideas. And so I'm really going to use this. I'm really going to use this as our benchmark, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of like just document, like we have like things that I've highlighted, right? Like we're look at modeling, best practices with modeling, checking for understandings, giving students more time to complete tasks. How are we doing on time? Oh, excellent. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do, and in case you're not aware of this, and this is not a power trip, this is kind of just like for me to get like uh, my brain transitioned here. So if you were to collaborate with students like this, I don't know if you've collabed with Cami, but you'll know that part of the advantage here from a classroom management standpoint is that you all can't go and delete each other's annotations here, right? Like the same way that you would in like a Google slide deck, right? And so there's that functionality. The other thing is when I go to share, I do have, since I'm the owner of this doc, I have a lot of control over what you all have, and I'm going to turn everything off. Again, not as a power trip, but just to show you how you can use this with your students. So if you go and look at your own Cami doc now, you'll see that all the tools here have been stripped away. So again, if you're not aware of that, that was like a little sidebar. That's not the main focus here, but okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is we're going to transition quickly here. I'm going to go back to my one pager, and we're going to really focus, at least to start, on what about the initial learning, right? And so think about what the initial new learning, like you start a new unit, you're starting a new concept, you're like transitioning to a different standard or set of standards, whatever it is, think about what that looked like 30 years ago, even 20 years ago, right? And so my worry is that we're trying to solve problems of this century within education, but with strategies that are still like from last century. And so that initial learning often came down to, you know, teacher stands and delivers, students take notes, hope and a prayer. We're going to take a test, kind of do some checking for understanding. Um, you're not gathering any information. It's very like think, pair, share-esque, popsicle stick pull-esque, right? And there was nothing wrong with those strategies, and those strategies still have a place in our classrooms for sure. But when you're thinking about how we're vetting as teachers, how we're using technology, is it solving any of those things, right? Is it giving you more visibility? Is it giving you a better workflow, lifestyle, instructional style to really accommodate the wide range of needs that we have? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop over. I'm going to click on the Cami Chrome extension again. By the way, I'm going to close this out if that's cool. Like this, just the I can't have a bunch of tabs open, is what I'm getting at. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a resource. I already have one open, but I think what I'm going to do, just to show you how I got it. So when I'm in my Cami dashboard, after I click on the extension, I click on Google Drive. I go to PD resources or any folder really. That's just what I call it. And so you can go whatever curriculum you have. I'm going to pull this one. So we're going to pull a science. There we go. So here's the initial learning. Like I want my students to unpack. This is on freshwater ecosystems. Okay. It's just the text though, right? It's just like, this is clearly from a textbook. But I want my students to be able to document their learning. So I'm going to go back, click on the Chrome extension, and click on the Cami library right here. And I want them taking some notes. So I'm going to just do a search here in the library, Cornell notes. I don't know if anyone here is keen to Cornell notes. Honestly, I don't like the lines because my students are using text box. That's just my experience. Like students are taking notes, doing stuff. I like the big blank open one like this. Boom. Oh, Q. That's kind of cute. Let's roll with this one. So we're gonna open this up. Okay. So how we're gonna give students this experience of new learning, I would really love us to really lean into this concept or this idea of choice. Back in the day, there was no choice. There was, hey, I am going to give you the information verbally as a teacher, stand and deliver. Here's all the content. Not all the content, but bell to bell, I'm going to be, or at least part of the class period, delivering that up. And so the skill was the same skill. It was just the same way, fitting every single learner in the exact same box as if they were all the exact same people, right? And so there is a place for lecture. So I'm not trying to say that, but something you could do here is to really lean into the wide different ways that we can represent content for our students. So The first one is this. If this is going to be on ecosystems, do a quick YouTube search. Now, this could be a video that you find, or it can be a video that that you're creating. So think about like these other sessions that again that you all are not at, freshwater ecosystems. So this could be teacher created as well. And this is just to show you, right? Like you probably know where to find a lot of these resources like within your content. Girl, let's do this one. So I'm doing a few different things here. So I'm actually going to cover this up here, and where the essential question, I'm not going to have an essential question. I'm going to say student choice on how you want to learn. I'm going to drop that right here. Yeah. And then I'm going to do a comment here. I'm going to do a text comment. So I'm going to put, you can watch to learn. Wait, is it going to let me put an emoji? I like the eyeballs. Okay. Hit enter. Boom. You can watch. Now, when you drop a YouTube link right into a text box comment, the video, it gets embedded. Like they'll be able to watch the video and take notes all in the same time. Or I can do this. I can give them the text that's from the textbook. So like if they just want to read, right? And they can do this at their pace, on their choice, right? And I'm now not the one lecturing at them. That's not my energy. My energy now is meeting up with them in small groups while they're working on this, having them chat about stuff, better differentiating who needs what, right? Because it's more student-centered. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and select share, and I'm going to create individual copy. So it's not like creating an assignment, but when they click on this link, they're going to get their own copy that they get in the drive, right? I don't need to see it. They can annotate, and they have all the Kami tools, and they can flex those tools however they need. That may require some modeling, right? But again, I'm spending more time meeting with my learners at a more one-to-one or small group basis than I would be if I was just like lecturing for, even if it's just like 30 minutes, right? So I'm going to go ahead, turn all this on. I'm going to select OK. So it's create individual copy. I'm going to copy this link here. So here's the Cornell notes. So the next option here, or read. You're going to give me the book? Is there a book? I like that one. Cool. So dropping that individual link, boom. And I can move these, right? I kind of like them like right, just like that. Now here's the last one. What if I want them to, how do I say this? What if I want them to listen? Now I'm not going to create, what if I don't have time to create like, a podcast or like a video or for them to just listen? Maybe that's what they need, right? What I can do, gonna let me copy all this? Maybe not. Let's see what it does. So if you've not explored Notebook LM, you can just search online Notebook LM. I did check with Jen Rogers. She had indicated that you all are allowed to use this phenomenal tool. I've not been up in here. They've made some updates, so maybe we kind of do this together. But you create whatever notebook you want. So create new, and then you drop whatever source, whether it's a YouTube video. Oh my gosh, hold on. Why didn't I do that? Instead of copying that, will it take this YouTube video? I don't think it'll take any YouTube video. Oh my gosh, it does. And then so it gives you like a little like quick description. So this is the chat area. They changed all this, y'all. So I'm gonna hold on. What happens when you hit generate? So one big use case of Notebook LM, if you're looking at things online of sort, is you'll take any content, right? Whether it's text-based, like you kind of saw it earlier, you can take a text, YouTube video. I use this for my adult learners, and so what it does, the AI generates a legit sounding podcast. Like it has like music, it has somebody that like talks like this, and like it, and sometimes it has like dialogue podcast. It's pretty engaging. And so what I would then do is I would take, once I have this generated, I would then drop that in my Google Drive, take that Google Drive shared link and drop that in the comment over here in my Cornell notes. Now, mind you, I'm only creating Cornell notes, and just as a, because the Notebook LM, it does take a bit, because like what we're asking it to do is kind of heavy. But or listen, and then we may drop that link, update that link later. Oh my gosh, yes. So we can come and update that later. If you want to give your students more space, I'm going to click the little plus down here. And then I'm going to do, you don't see the Cornell Notes option here, but you can browse Kami Library. And then just pull the same template. If you need to see this again, that step, just let me know. Open, add. That way you can just, we're running two pages of the Cornell Notes. There we go. Now, students will be able to take notes, document things. They could record themselves, record their thinking. If they are using things like the screen capture comment, which is basically recording a video, but the video could then pick up some of the audio from the multimedia that they want to do that. Y'all okay? Y'all quiet? It's okay. I know that like PD on January 2nd. Can I say this? I don't work in your district. It's not ideal. So I know that we're kind of getting back into the jam of things for next week. But let me know if you do have questions as they come. Hold on, what's going on with this Notebook LM thing? It's still generating. I like how it says no need to stick around. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do, I want to assign this out. So in case you're not aware, well, you should be able to do anything that you front load like this. You should be able to go to share and then create assignment. And I'm just going to call this one new learning. Notice that it made a copy for me. I'm going to put it in a class here. I don't know, point value wise. Let's not have this due on a Friday. Okay, cool. Know that, when you're creating Kami assignments, you do have the ability to turn on, turn off things. Maybe you don't want students to copy and paste in and out of the document. Maybe you do. I don't know. You can turn that off. Do you want the spell check on? Do you want them to add pages? I don't mind having for this type of activity. I don't mind having all that. They don't need the signature tool though. But with the add media, maybe you want them to have like they're taking notes. It's more of like their own sandbox. Yvonne, that's a good question. Can assignments be created without Classroom? No, but I see that being a thing in the future. That's all I'll say. Yeah, so you can just take individual links, if that makes sense. Like if you create individual copy and they open it up, but then you don't have any visibility on that. So the answer is no right now. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and add assignment. Well, that's doing that thing there. Generating conversation. So I've done this a few times for my adult learners. I remember it taking about 15 minutes. This is where I go get like another cup of coffee, or I'd be grading something. Here we go. So now back on this side of it, the assignment's been created. Open in Classroom. Wait, so this is what the teacher sees. Now let's hop over and show you what the students see. There we go. Let's look on new learning. So I'm here in my student account. So this is student Steve coming up in here, open with Kami. That's all they see, right? It opens up in a new tab. It does create a new copy for each learner. Those PDFs, their own copies, they do get saved in their own drive, right? They need to access from there for some reason. And so I'm going to take notes. I can either watch the video. Take notes here or like this. Y'all, I just discovered something. I've never tried doing this. Okay, so what I just found is if you are doing a video and they hit the little microphone, if they're in the text box, it'll pick up the video. Now you all probably can't hear the video. But hold on. Like I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit the video and then I'm gonna hit the microphone. Oh no. Now it's not working. Hold on. I almost feel like that's something that is like not intentional, but it did work for a hot minute. You all saw it, right? Maybe I'm making this up. I don't know. Okay. So the other thing worth noting here is, again, this is going to require a level of modeling for our students. but really empowering them with the various different Cami tools, right? So if they want to click on the article here to read. So now I gave them an individual copy link. So if they wanted to, they could like like the really important stuff. They can use the markup tool and select like boom, just that. Let's say that's really important. They hover over that, they very well could copy this and then drop that back in their notes. So I just copied it. Let me paste, girl. Why did it not copy? It should be copying over. Copy. That's not working. I have to report that to the engineers because that is a bug. Wait, well, let me do it with a comment though. No. I'll get that cleaned up for you all today. That should not be happening. Wait, can I do it here? Oh, it doesn't let me move it across documents. I've done that before. That should not be happening. Boom, boom. We'll get that cleaned up for y'all. The other thing is when you're looking at this and know that students have access, and this goes into like you have time now to meet with them in small groups where there's graphic organizers down here. Like if that is going to help them organize anything about the content, right? So they can drop in a graphic organizer. They can draw right on it. Boom. Super versatile. Now imagine students they're working. They're either watching a video. If I hop back over to the teacher side, oh, look, it's ready. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you all can hear this. His voice sounds way better than mine. I'm jealous. Can I download this? Yeah, girl, I want to download it. And I want to go in. I'm sure you all know this. We all taught during the pandemic, right? Like we all know this. I'm gonna drag and drop this. Now, what if this exact situation where like I didn't have time to put that podcast, like Notebook LM was taking forever, but I needed the students to start working, or I just needed to push it out into the classroom, right? Here we go. There we go. It's saved there. Let's share this. I'm going to keep it restricted for now, but you probably want to fix that. So when I come over here as a teacher and be like, oh, I need to push out that podcast because I want them to be able to, with that new learning, to watch, to read, to listen, but it's not there yet. So, but what you can do is you can go to edit assignment. And what edit assignment does, it takes you to the template file. So it takes you to a version of the file for you to roll out new annotations. I'm going to just do this. Can I edit here? I just copied that Google Drive link, right, from the pod. Boom, there we go. And now students will be able to click on that, boom, and have access to it. You know what? Let me change restriction because I might show you something in a bit. Once I add a new annotation, And think about how we can use this to better accommodate, better differentiate, right? Drop in those things that you know our students need. And so you can drop in new graphics, new images, new stickers. There's another thing that you can add that I'll show you in a bit. But all you need to do is once you add new annotations, you go to update all from here, from the template copy, and then update. Boom, boom, boom. So now if I go back to the student side, look, student Steve has that podcast. Be like, oh, I started watching. Maybe I might listen. Because sometimes, like, we all learn differently. Like, sometimes we want to read it, sometimes we want to listen to it. I know my students, my adult learners, they kind of do like a combination of the two, right? They kind of get, if I gave them all video, they would get drained on that. If I gave them all me, they would get burnt out on that too. Sometimes I would do like little mini videos with me and a different professional or me and a different teacher, right? It's about trying to gather their really short attention span, get them like boom, boom, boom. Let's really lean into the micro learning, really lean into essential standards, right? I don't know if that's like common language in your district, right? And it was for me. And so really leaning into this concept of giving them more choice, giving it more flexibility, because they do live in a flexible world. Like, think about the various different ways of how you can order coffee at a Starbucks. like they sometimes what we do in our, not you necessarily, but like generally speaking, like what's happening in education, oftentimes it doesn't really reflect of like how they learn things and how they engage with the world now. And so I'm going to go ahead and that coffee analogy, that is not me. I got that from someone way smarter than I. Big props if you know the educational influencer that wrote that in her book. You know that, that'd be like, dang. So we have the podcast in there now. Now here's the thing. Another way that we can vet our technology and whether or not it's best serving our students is also like, what kind of visibility is it providing you? Even if something is as student-centered as this, right? So another thing that you can do is it does have um, the ability to roll out new annotations from the same environment, but you can add questions, Kami questions. Now, let me just show you. Now here, I don't want it to generate questions because it's just the Cornell notes. But let me show you a little hack. Anyone use Kami questions? If you don't mind sharing that in the chat. Some of y'all like, Steve, I haven't even used Kami yet, which that's fine too. Not yet. Okay, cool. So let me just show you. I'm going to put questions on this page from the text. So I'm going to pull just from the text. Now, remember, have I clicked on this yet? Oh my gosh, friends, I have way too many tabs open. I need that. I don't need that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to click on, me as a teacher, I'm going to click on the read option here. Just going to click on it. And so I'm going to go ahead. I see, okay, just as an example, right? I'll be like, cool. I want to run questions for students to have for once they're done taking the notes. I want to do a quick like, boom. I want some sort of assessment, like right away, very formative, of like, how'd you do? Where are you at? And to have that instant not just the instant feedback, but also the instant data for me to figure out where to go next, right? So I'm going to click on the question tool here. On the right-hand side, it says convert, generate, start from scratch. I'm not starting from scratch. I need it to generate. So this is the AI function that Cami has at the moment. But I can click on generate, and it's going to generate questions based off this text. I can select whatever grade level. I get to pick what language that I want these questions in, and you can run different batches. So maybe you do 3 questions in English and then 3 questions in Spanish, right? You'll have visibility on both depending on who's answering what, right? So again, this is a great way for moving from that tier 1 intervention to tier 2 intervention, that scaffolding. And you know what? I'll just do that for you. We're gonna do just pages 1 through 2 just to show you. In the advanced settings, we're just gonna roll with 2 multiple choice questions. Here's the other thing too, and we're gonna pull it way back. Where was this? Oh, I closed it out. But in our collab activity, someone mentioned like the various different depths of questioning, right? So you have, with that in mind, Jennifer, I'm gonna get to your question. I'm gonna answer that right now. You can select whether or not you want it at grade level or above grade level. Again, you may want to mix this up. The depth of knowledge, the DOK. Let's run just with recall, right? Now, Jennifer, Cami will not run questions on video or audio at the moment. There is a hack that I have for that. If the district has access to Brisk. So and I can confirm that with Jen. I can even create a video for you all after this session. But there is a way to make that happen with Cami and Brisk together. So the other thing, so I'm going to go ahead and generate these questions. So I'm going to do 2 questions in English, generate questions. Brenda, you don't have to be on the paid version of Brisk. As long as you're allowed to use it, I can show you. Because I'm not on the paid version of Brisk, and I do that hack all the time. Okay, so here are the questions. Okay. And then I'm going to generate 2 more in Spanish. From same pages. Same like depth of knowledge. And these are all going to be auto-graded, friends. Yes. Okay. So check it out. These are in Spanish. Now you would have some students. So this, oh, dang. Oh, I think I had it create way too many questions for the Spanish one. My bad. But you can just delete these really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, 4. Now, Jennifer, Brenda, let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and create 2 more questions for you, but with Brisk and with the YouTube video. How am I going to do that? I mean, I know how I'm going to do it, but okay. Before I do all that, the main point here is while students are working, I want them to receive some light assessment right when they're done taking the notes, right? So but I don't want the questions on this document because this is my individual copy. I want it on this document. So how do I do that? Well, if I come up here and see the little annotation bank, if you've not used the annotation bank, you can bank and store any annotations to recycle and use. Even questions. So I'm going to bank this one. Yeah, girl, bank it. Bank that one too. Bank this one too. Bank this one too. They're all banked. So now when I come over here, I may need a refresh. Just reload Cami. How are we doing on time? Oh, terribly. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I hope you're learning something though. At least like one thing. Like some of this may be overwhelming. Be like, Steve, that was a lot. But now what I should be able to see how the same filing cabinet, the annotation bank, is up here. When I click on that, look at all the folders and things that I have banked. Here are the 4 questions that I just banked right here. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop them on the page. There we go. Boom, boom, and boom. Wait, did I not put this in the right file? No, I put it. I'm sorry, hold on. You want to make sure you put it in the template copy because you need to update it all. Don't make my mistake. Let me refresh this. Okay, so I'm gonna update. I'm gonna add these questions now. Sorry. Now the reason why I do this while they're working and not like I can front load this with questions. I don't want them to see questions right away. I want them to make that initial step of documenting their own learning. I may roll out different questions to different class periods, different groups of learners, depending on what's going on, because I can go ahead and then I can also do a question from scratch if I wanted to, right? Or maybe one period, I'm really rolling with AI generated questions that are like level 3 DOK. Maybe second period, they need more like level 2. Maybe you have one period that is, there you have a lot more like Spanish speakers. So think about, what I encourage you to do is think about how you would differentiate this process, right? And use this to your advantage depending on who you're in front of. And so now that they're here, I can select update all, update, and now student Steve is going to have these questions. Let's hop over and see. Boom, there they are. You'll also notice that there is I may want to, as a learner, zoom out just a little bit to view the questions. So they just pop up like magic. There is a read aloud for the questions. So the question can be read back to them and it'll work in whatever language it's in. Let me go ahead. I didn't teach science all, so I'm going to just, don't judge me here. So boom, there it is. Now I do want to talk about like this video component of this here. Okay. So this YouTube video, if you do have Brisk, if you have the Brisk Chrome extension, this will be the last thing I show you. Second to last thing. If you have the Brisk Chrome extension, you do have the little Brisk option down here, their little widget. You want to make sure that you're just looking at the video, just like this. Click on the Brisk. I want to create a quiz, I believe. Yes, English. Sure. Grade level. Only 2 questions. And it says YouTube video. So it's going to pull the information from this YouTube video. Hit next. I'm going to put it in a Google Doc. Do not put it in a Google form. Like if you have other purposes as to why you need it in a form, great. But for this, you don't need it in, or you don't want it in a form, is what I'm getting at. So instructions, I don't need. I don't even need. I just need the questions, right? Cool. So here are the two questions. I'm going to go to File. I want to download. It needs to be as a PDF if you want these questions in Kami. Boom. So now, come on, girl. The Google Docs already saved there, but again, I need the PDF. Right here. Upload, upload, upload. So there it is. So now go back to that template file. I've already added 4 questions. I'm now going to go down. Instead of hit AI generate, I'm going to go AI convert. And then from there, I'm going to convert other PDF and click Google Drive. And I'm going to pull that PDF that I just grabbed from Brisk that pulled questions from the YouTube video. Jennifer, does this make sense? Hope it does. Hit select here. So it's importing. There it is. Yeah, Jennifer, I can show that to you next. Don't worry, I got you. I'll kind of show you what that looks like. Okay, cool. So I'm going to scroll down. Here are the questions. So the last 2 is what Brisk did. And notice that Kami identified what the right answers were. You may want to, when I say Kami, we're really talking about Gemini in the background. Just like any other AI, you may want to just proofread it, make sure that it's accurate. It dropped in A or B. I don't know if you care about that because it's not consistent with the other questions. We're going to update again. So again, just new questions getting rolled out to every single student copy. I'm going to now go over to my student side. Here we go. So here are the new questions. Boom. Okay. So Jennifer, you bring up a really, really good question of like, do they know what they get right, what they get wrong? So you'll notice like right here, I don't have that visibility as a student, but the teacher can deliver that visibility. So here's what I mean. Let's back up. All these tabs. I'll leave that copy of it. Okay, so when you go back to the assignment in Classroom, like all we've done, friends, is we just went to edit assignment. We're really leaning into that. But you also may want to use the class view. So open class view. So when you create a Kami assignment, you also have access to class view. So class view is going to take all the student work, all of it for the entire class, and it's going to move it into the same environment. You'll be able to monitor those annotations in real time. That's not the point here. The point is, I've rolled out Kami questions. So when I go to answers, boom, this is where you're going to see all the data. Now, I've only done it with one student. So only one student has answered this, right? Because we just created it. Where's student Steve? Oh my gosh, student Steve is not doing too well, friends. But you'll be able to see side by side, like question by question. We will see trends. Like, are they all getting it right? Are they struggling? Where are we at? Now, if you want the students to see the data, like right now, you only see the data, right? One thing that you're going to want what you're going to want to do is, if you want the students to see their data right away, you want them to turn it in right away. Now, this is a little, I'll be honest, this is a little, what's the right word? A little clunky at the moment. I don't mind saying that. I work over here, but I can say that. I want there to be like a mode where like the data becomes visible to them all the time. Don't worry, I'm super loud over here. I be talking to the engineers about this all the time. Expect that to happen, right? Expect that to happen soon-ish. But when I'm over here and they do turn it in, come on, girl, change faster. So if you haven't turned it in, the way that they see the data and make it visible, see, there it is. Just took a minute. Is you want to return it. If you have everyone do it, you can just return all. Just one button, be like, there's the data. So let's just return this one. Now notice that all the scores they get auto graded, right? It automatically shows up in the little score box. These score boxes, all these scores will automatically populate in your Google Classroom Gradebook. Aaron, breach. That's something we are working on. Like my team to get the engineers to do is like to add layers, because like yes. So Aaron, all about that. Like definitely need layers. Like layering things. Like I got you. So now that I've returned it, I may need to refresh here. There it is. So now I can see it, right? And it gives me like, oh, it was that one. It was that one. Now you can do like pre-assessment, post-assessment, where when you're in your template copy, you can delete all the questions and have it run new questions at a different DOK level. You kind of think about like Kami's super versatile. You can think about the wide range of ways that you can use this feature. I do know that we're out of time, friends. So what I'd love to do is, I know like the next part here is the sandbox. I need a little bit of a break. I don't know about you all, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give us a little bit of a break. I'm also going to drop in the sign-in sheet for the sandbox part of this. Sandbox sign-in. I'm sorry we went over just a few minutes. Apologize for that. I'm also going to pin this one. So I'm going to go off camera just for a few minutes. I'm going to give you your time. I'll be on for the call for the duration of the sandbox time. I think it's till like 11:45. But I'm going to take a quick break. Happy to support you. If you want to implement any of this, if you want to like share things out with me, maybe I can give you feedback, whatever the case is, feel free to do that. I'm also going to drop in the feedback form here for this session that you all have. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so just give me a few minutes. I'll be back in a few.